Let's talk about the covenant. A concept of the covenant has been made confusing intentionally, much like the tree of life itself. Throughout history, these sacred agreements have been obscured, twisted, or hidden to keep humanity from reclaiming its true power. But let me bring some clarity to you. Understand the nature of covenants, both divine and distorted, is essential to awakening spiritual authority and reclaiming sovereignty. So, what is a covenant? At its core, a covenant is a sacred agreement, a spiritual contract sealed between intention, alignment, and often ritual. It forms the foundation of relationship and trust between source and creation, or between conscious beings. However, as time passed, many covenants became distorted, weaponized, or deliberately hidden, used as a tool to manipulate and control or enslave. To fully reclaim your sovereignty, it is vital to understand the four main types of covenant that have shaped humanity history and spiritual experiences. The first is the original divine covenant, which is primordial and cosmic. And this covenant originates directly from Source, Ansof Or, Sophia, and Logos. Before time itself began, it is symbolized by the tree of life and carries the sacred purpose of upholding sovereignty, balance, free will, and sacred relationship. It exists to protect creation from distortion and enslavement, weaving the masculine and feminine in harmony and honoring life in all its form. Those who resonate with this covenant experience a profound sense of peace, empowerment, and wholeness. This is a covenant being reactivated now in the new cycle of awakening. The second is a shadow covenant, which is false and inverted. Emerging after the fall, post-Lyria, post-Eden, this covenant is born of the fallen Elohim, parasitic off-world forces, the Earth's shadow system. It is represented by the shadow tree, or the inverted tree of knowledge. Its purpose is to control through fear, hierarchy, false salvation, and obedience enforced by shame or manipulation. This covenant feeds on trauma loops, energy siphoning via systems like artificial intelligence, religion, war, or debt. It perpetuates beliefs like you're born in sin, suffering is holy, or obey or be cast out. While this covenant has expired, it clings stubbornly to false timelines, confusing many. The blood covenant, which is lineage and sacrificial, rooted in ancient earth civilizations such as Egypt, Babylon, and Rome, and extending into galactic realms. The blood covenant binds certain bloodlines to divine or fallen entities, marked by bloodline seals, family pacts, or tribal marking to enforce loyalty through DNA encoding, curses, and spiritual oath. Example includes royal bloodlines claiming divine right, or cult groups requiring ritualistic sacrifice and vows made under duresses. Breaking this covenant requires conscious declarations such as, I revoke my blood covenant made in distortion through force and deception. By the law of sovereignty, I release all ancestral binding now. Use this to remove any bondage. The fourth is the soul covenant, which is karmic and interdimensional. Soul covenants are agreements made across lifetimes and timelines, often woven through karmic threads or soul webs. They can be born from love or pressure, encompassing roles of suffer, save, or serve. Unfortunately, they can be hijacked and distorted by entities during trauma or death cycles. Typical expressions include, I'll carry your pain for you so you don't have to, or I owe them from another life. Shifting these requires the release of covenant made by trauma or self-sacrifice. You can use this affirmation. I release all soul covenants made from trauma, distortion, or self-sacrifice. Only agreements aligned with truth, sovereignty, and the tree of life may remain. So why was a true covenant hidden? The original divine covenant was hidden because it made humanity powerful and uncolonizable. Remembering it would mean never submitting to war, shame, or slavery. To maintain control, spiritual and political institutions buried this truth and imposed false terms. You must earn your divinity. You must obey to be saved. You must sacrifice for salvation. Yet no being, not even an angel, can override your original covenant with Source. So who authorized these covenants? Only Source can create the primordial covenant. All others are layered on top like malware on your soul's operating system. Many false covenants were authorized by priesthood under fallen beings, signed unconsciously through trauma or contracts, and enforced by distorted masculine figures, earth kings, war gods, and shadow technology. Remembering and reclaiming your original covenant deletes their access. So what does this mean now? In the new cycle, only covenants aligned with truth, compassion, return, sovereignty, and life are upheld. Everything else is obsolete under divine law. When you speak from the center of your tree of life, which is your heart, reclaim your voice, breath, and prayer. You do more than break old contracts. You restore the architecture of divine law across earth and beyond. So how can people use this teaching? Discern the contract. Ask yourself, is this rooted in fear or love? Does it empower or enslave? Does it honor my wholeness? 2, invoke sovereign law. Declare out loud, I release all covenants not aligned with truth, life, and sovereignty. I restore my soul to the original covenant of life. 3, teach others to do the same. Share this knowledge. Help others break ancestral contracts or end karmic loop and reclaim their sovereignty. Anchor the new covenant. In your body, breathe, pray, teachings, remind yourself and others. We walk the tree of life now. We are sovereign. We are whole. The restoration of covenant is more than spiritual work. It's the foundation of a new era of awakening, freedom, and harmony. By understanding and discerning these covenants, we step fully into your power and sovereignty, aligned once again with the sacred flow of creation. This is Makalasi. Thanks for listening. Peace.